This is Win News.
Tonight our nurses slam emergency department working conditions. Kevin's 747 off on another overseas trip. And Roger Federer labelled the greatest player of all time. Good evening, I'm John Remis. Tassie nurses say working conditions in our hospital emergency departments are some of the worst in the country. They backed a call by the state opposition for better recruitment policies after it claimed we paid about $22 million in health industry overtime last year.
The Australian Nursing Federation says nurses in Tasmania are being forced to do 17-hour shifts almost daily, and patients are now being put at risk.
It does take its toll when you're working those sorts of shifts because you do worry about making a mistake, and clearly the amount of overtime is unacceptable. She
says our health industry is struggling to recruit specialists. The Royal Hobart Hospital, one of the worst hit, with 14 vacancies in its neonatal intensive care unit for over 12 months. A lack of funded positions leaving some emergency nurses drunk with fatigue.
Nurses working 17 hours straight is equivalent to have a blood alcohol reading of about 0.06.
The opposition's calling for an immediate change of policy to put Tasmania back on the medical map.
This government has known for some time that we need to be putting more nurses into our hospital wards. We need to be encouraging those with a bit of experience to upskill, become theatre nurses, and to get those theatres operating far more efficiently than they are now.
Health Minister Lara Giddings says a number of factors, including a 20% increase in elective surgery, have increased pressure on the health system. Ned Costello, Win News.
Thousands of parents who'd been avoiding paying child support have finally been caught out. They were identified by the tax office after receiving the federal government's $900 stimulus package. Ahead on Win News, a West Coast gold mine changes hands and two Aussie teens on their way to Michael Jackson's final farewell. To finance and the Australian stock market finished lower today, dragged down by the resources sector. The Ordinaries Index dropped 42.4 points, or 1.1%. BHP dropped 81 cents, Rio Tinto was down $1.10, banks also lower. The Aussie dollar closed slightly down at just over 79 US cents. Sport now, and some great news for Tassie soccer fans, Cole.
It is, John. It looks like we could have a team in the A-League as early as next year. I'll have details shortly. And Cadell Evans happy with his solid start in the Tour de France. Launceston is pushing for a finals campaign after its upset win over Burnie at the weekend. The Blues found much needed form to thrash the top-placed Dockers by 61 points.
While Burnie was well below their best, Launceston had winners right across the park in a committed team effort.
Everything's on the line for us every week now, so we've got to pretty much win every game to be assured of a spot in the finals, and we've got to treat each game as a final.
The Blues take on bitter rivals North Launceston in their next game. In another upset, Hobart ended North Hobart's three-game winning streak with a 19-point victory. Coach Graham Fox saying his young team has turned the corner.
We went in with a new structure, new game setup, new game plan, and the boys carried instructions out to the letter, and we got a good result.
Glenorchy remains on target to finish the season in second place after its impressive come-from-behind win over Devonport. Describing the victory as one of the best he's been involved in, Glenorchy coach Ben Reid says his team can't rest on its laurels.
We understand the significance of finishing in the top two, and we just need to keep winning to keep those sides that are breathing down our neck off our backs.
To the ladder, and North Launceston moved to fourth place after Devonport and North Hobart recorded losses. Launceston is now just one win outside the top six. Brad Dutton continues to lead the goal-kicking table. Darren Crawford closing the gap with a 5-goal haul. Reports today claim former Hobart coach Todd Lewis has been offered an assistant's position at North Hobart. Demons playing coach Matthew Gapin says it's not an official job, describing it as more of an advisory role. Paul Murphy, Win News.
And that match against North Melbourne here in Launceston, John.
Thanks, Colin. We'll have the weather details after the break. There were isolated showers about the west, south and the lower east coast today. A top of 10 degrees was recorded in the west at Strawn, 12 up in Burnie and Devonport. Launceston reached 12 as well. So did St Helens. Further down the east coast, Swansea managed 9, and the same down in Hobart after 5 degrees overnight. Speckled low-level cumulus cloud covers most of the state except the north. There's a high centred to our west with a weak cold front moving into the Tasman. To boating and swells ranging from chiefly westerly to 1 metre in the north to southwesterly at 2.5 to 3 metres in the west and south. A strong wind warning is current for eastern coastal waters from the northern tip of Flinders Island to South East Cape. A road weather alert has been issued for all roads, warning of ice and frost patches. Tomorrow, fine with sunny periods and a top of 10 in Hobart. Same in Swansea with 11, fine in St Helens as well with 12. Across to Launceston, a frosty start, then a top of 12. Same in Burnie and Devonport. Fine 2 in Strawn and 11. Interstate, a shower or 2 in Perth, showers in Brisbane, but fine in the other capitals. Looking ahead, it should be fine in the northwest on Wednesday and Thursday. Mainly fine on Friday, same for Launceston with top temperatures between 12 and 14 degrees. In Hobart, fine for Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, temperatures between 11 and 13. And that's Win News for this Monday. I'm John Remus. Good night.